I'm back and I'm better. Hey y'all. My name is Courtney. I am not new to these YouTube streets, but I am new to reviewing some of my favorite shows. So I'm gonna hop right into it. Like literally, this is my first time like reviewing any kind of show. I'm thinking about maybe doing like some movies and stuff like that too, but it's something I've been wanting to do for a while. So I'm really excited. I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm gonna try to push through it. So let's just get right into it, okay? So the show that I'm reviewing today is gonna be Love and Marriage Huntsville. I've been watching it since season 1, so I'm excited to kind of like give a little bit of a take. And I apologize if my camera's like shaking. I do not have a little like holster. I don't have like a little holster or whatever, so I apologize for that in advance. Yeah, but let's get into it. So I've been watching Love and Marriage Huntsville for a while now. So I would say, yeah, so I've been watching Love and Marriage Huntsville for a while, since season 1. So I'm very like familiar with what's going on with the show. And now that Melanie is gone, I'm just kind of like interested to see kind of like what is going to happen with the show moving forward, because I already got some of my thoughts. Like, I do not like that intro. I feel like the intro is super like basic and just like like all the shapes with the squares and whatever rectangles. Stop. Just do a normal like, y'all doing a pulling of the ropes like it's field day. Stop. I don't like that. Don't, like, Melanie already gone. Like, don't cheapen y'all, like, look. I don't like that. Like, I don't like that. I don't like how that looks. I don't like that. Then the way Maurice popped his head out from under Kimmy's dress, like, I absolutely loathe that part. I don't like it. I do not like that part. Like, if they ran that back to me, and that was me and my husband, I'd be like, no, we're not gonna run that. Y'all gonna have to run something else, because this is like an abomination. Seriously. Really? Then, like, I don't know what's up with Tisha and Marshall. I really don't know what's up with them. I don't. So hold on. Side note, it's a Sunday morning. I'm out here chilling with y'all. Like, I'm about to get my car washed when I get done with this review. So I'm sitting in the car lot on a Sunday morning. I got my little coffee, got my little iced coffee, and we about to get into this little review. Now, I watched both episodes, but I just watched the second episode today. So I kind of want to run back the first episode. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, because at this point we on week 2, and like, I should have recorded last week and I didn't. So I do have my notes, so I'm going to be referring back to my little notes. So episode 1 of season 10 was NDAs and DNA. I think that's what it was called. Like I just mentioned, I'm just going to run down my little notes. I don't like the intro. I think the intro was trash. It looks really cheap. So anyway, of course, you know how like a season starts, it kind of gives like a flashback of maybe like where we left off last season. Okay. You know, all the stuff that was going on with Trish and Marquez, and Ken, and then also too like the obviously like what happened in between seasons. I don't know if you guys know or not, but you know, Martell got his bean head ass online and pretty much felt that he needed to bring forth one of Marcel's like old mistresses or something. And so like they did a whole interview with him and Ariane, and it was comical to me. I thought it was hilarious. And of course Marcel didn't respond, which the thing about Marcel is like so manipulative, and I cannot stand it about him. Like, he's a very like smart individual, you could tell, but he uses a lot of wordplay. He never answers a question like head on, and I don't respect that about him. I don't respect that about nobody. Like, if you gonna speak on it, don't. I don't have time to respond. No, you don't want to respond. I don't like that. Respond. Anyway. Let's see. Yeah, so Marcel didn't respond to the Ariane and Martell interview. And then boom, here we go. We started off. We opened up with Tisha, sorry, and Marcel. They at their house or whatever. Now Scott married the other house. They got the kids in the kitchen. They cooking. They grating like some cheese or something. Tisha wants her son to take off his little do-rag or wave cap, whatever it is. Marcel come in the kitchen. He kind of bumped the kids, play with them a little bit. And they all kind of just kick in a little bit. Then boom, here come this dramatic boom, 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 boom music. I'm like, who is this? Who finna pull up? It's Wanda. So Wanda come in the crib. I don't know. I don't have no issues with Wanda. Wanda is like, I like Wanda. Okay, so Wanda come in. So she comes, so Marcel sitting on the couch or whatever. So she comes and she like, let me sit right next to you, Marcel. So he like, that ain't gonna happen. But you always notice that Tisha, like, I feel bad for Tisha because she love her mama at the end of the day. Like, she got that respect for Marcel, but she love Miss Wanda. She does. Because when Marcel said something slick, she was like, ain't what gonna happen? And then tried to laugh that shit off. No. Because you know if Marcel go there, you gonna get with him. Because you love your mama. So let's keep going. So she asking Marcel pretty much like, look, do you know the young lady? What's going on, Marcel? I said what I said. What in my interview? Wanda not letting up. She on her neck. No, I don't care what you said. Do you know the girl? Yes or no? This is embarrassing to my family, to my daughter, to everybody. Like, what's going on? Marcel, what did I say? Okay, we don't got time for that. Okay, you're still lying. Everybody, I don't know what people think about Martell, but I just be feeling like everybody ain't gonna be saying the same thing about you when it's not true. Okay, Martell got them receipts. He probably didn't sign him an NDA, and that's probably why he gotta shut up. But I definitely believe that it's some stuff going on. So boom, let's see, the Destiny and Martell scene. Again, Destiny got this boom, 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 boom music. I'm like, what is this? Okay, who is this? And mind you, I was like doing something else when I heard the music, and I'm like, wow, I feel like this like Destiny music, and it was Destiny. So Destiny come popping up with this fluffy hair. So she's coming in or whatever. She got on her little like first lady type of, you know, suit or whatever. So she come in. I'm like, who's she meeting with? So she meeting with a broker, because now Destiny she's been doing real estate for years. Okay, I'm never knocking nobody's side hustle, but Destiny, I don't know, like, girl, you just seem kind of like a bum. Like, for real, like, really, like, you ain't really got nothing going on, and it's always, like, these little ventures. Mind you, I used to be a realtor, too, so I get it, but I also had a full-time job, period. You know what I'm saying? Like, so at the end of the day, like, I don't know, like, I feel like you're using this show, this platform, whatever it is you got to do to get your coin, and I get that, but it's just always, like, you coming in with a Madani bag, and girl, shout out to Jada on the Rocks, because I've been listening to Jada for a while, and like, she be calling Destiny. But like, the name is appropriate. It's just like, girl, what are you doing now? Now you done brought Martell a candle, so boom, here come Martell. So whole time before Martell walks in, she's like, you know, I've been doing real estate, and Martell is in real estate. I hope that he can maybe give me some properties or whatever, so you know I can get some listings. Okay, boom, here come Martell. So Martell's come up in there. She's talking about, okay, Inspector Gadget. So he come in or whatever. Now Martell be having that shit on though. Like, I like the way Martell dressed. My husband dressed in Trap Ghetto, so that's my number one. So anyway, Martell come in and she like, what's up, Inspector Gadget? So they talking about the property. So he like, well, dang, like I kind of already put some other agents on it. She like, okay, put another one on there. He like, you gonna be cool with that? She, yeah. Destiny. This is why Jada be calling you Destiny G. This is why. Stuff like this. This is why, bro. Like, it's already two agents on there. So first of all, you trying to get on there when a commission is all said and done. So let's just say, because I think, what was it? You can't get no more than 6% in commission. I think a seller's, and this is in the state of Illinois, the seller's commission, typically like the listing agent is like usually like a 3.5 or 4% of the commission, because you can only do total 6% between both entities, the seller agent and the buyer's agent. So no matter what that 6% is, if there's more than one agent or broker on the deal, the transaction, they has to be split. So you looking at it like, whatever, I don't care if I get 5%, 0.5%, 1%, give me my bread. It's like Destiny. This how I know you broke, G. Like, like, so you doing real estate, Kimmy doing real estate. You need to be trying to link with Kimmy. Cause you staying with Martell, like Martell ain't got nothing going on. Kimmy showing commercial properties. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, let's get on that. Okay, whatever. What's going on with Ariane? So Martell proceeds to talk about how Ariane and him and Ariane are good, and you know, she's a good girl. He keeps saying she's a good girl. You know, Ariane's a good girl. Fool, you look stupid. Because at the end of the day, you fumble with Melanie. We all know this. You fumble with Melanie. Now you with Ariane. And there's no comparison. Do you love her? Probably. But at the end of the day, look at what you had. That's going to be for the rest of your life, bro. That's why in the next episode, Destiny was like, nigga, you need to go to therapy. Anyway, so Destiny like, okay, so he like, yeah, they kind of doing flashbacks how Ariane came about. Like, so mind you, Ariane been around since season 1. She was just in the background. That's what Melanie was calling her coleslaw for, a side chick. So boom, of course, him and Melanie got divorced, and now that Melanie is not on the show, I'm sure that they could talk about Ariane and her real, true self, her context. So they done showed a couple pictures of her and stuff like that. She hasn't been on yet, but I do feel like that's coming. Okay, so he like, yeah, you know, I did call her a peasant. Ariane, is you cool? Is you cool though? Because my whole thing is, you said what? You call me a peasant, nigga? Is you cool? I'm sorry, I'm just not. I can't go. I don't care who you is. You call me a peasant, gang. No, sir. So anyway, they talking about that. Pretty much Martell, yeah, if she play her cards right, she gonna get a ring. Okay, shut up. So anyway, let's see. I'm gonna try to skip through this real quick. Kimmy and Maurice, they had a little scene or whatever. So at first, when it all starts off, Monster sitting there. Monster always look like he got some marbles in his mouth. Like, he always want to bust up and laugh. Like, he's very uncomfortable on camera, and it makes me uncomfortable and cringy because he's just weird on camera. So I don't know what was up with Kimmy. I don't know if she was like off of edible or whatever was going on with her, but she just seemed weird. Like, when she kept like popping her little head on the table and she was like stuff like that, I'm like, Kimmy, is you cool? Now, if you, whatever you doing, G, I ain't judging, but I'm just saying, is you cool? So, they talking about Monster, where he want to go to high school, all that kind of stuff. Monster's like, I can't remember what school they said, but Monster pretty much like, yeah, so here come Maurice Luther King. So, he got to sit down and give his speech. And I just was looking like, bro, you would irritate me if you was my dad. Like, for real, that speech shit, I don't like that. Shut up. This is a beautiful time for me in my life. I don't want to hear nothing about, now, when you make choices, so you want to take your own path. When he said you want to take your own path, when he said that, I'll say, okay, here go Maurice. He about to get up. And Monster be looking like, I can't wait to get up out of here, boy. Like, I can't wait. So Kimmy, yeah, you know, if you guys are friends, it's just going to be time for you to make decisions. If you're smoking and drinking, you can't do those things. And Maurice, yeah. So anyway, did anybody say something about my DUI? Monster like, I mean, yeah, I guess. Like, you on the show. Like, they know you my daddy. What was they saying? What they was saying? Nothing really. They was just kind of like making some jokes about it or whatever. I don't know. Are they joking now? No. I mean, yeah, see, they not joking now when things get dismissed. But then they get in a confession and Kimmy kind of said something like, yeah, with like due diligence, we got it like dismissed. Like, it was dismissed on a technicality, not like it didn't happen. Anyway. So they move into, Kimmy's all over the place. I don't know what's up with Kimmy. I don't know if she just woke up. But she's kind of like not on point with like the scene. Like, it's kind of like, are you okay? Like, so she kind of like out of nowhere. So speaking of Chris, he brought up, you know, something about some NDAs, and that's something that he was saying that you and Marceau would do. And so, of course, Maurice is like, what are you talking about? Kimmy, enough with you. Because at the end of the day, you know what's going on, child. So just stop. Stop trying to act like they like faithful and all of that. Like, you know already. You already know. You already know, G. You know. So, Maurice, of course I did. You know, wordplay. Have you ever had a side chick sign an NDA? I've never had anyone sign an NDA. That ain't what I asked you. He said, well, that's better. That's a better explanation, which I did agree. You said the side chick. He said, I ain't never had nobody sign an NDA. She wanted him to say, I've never had a side chick sign an NDA. Like, anyway, let me move on. Let's see. In my notes, I see Maurice is a lame. Maurice a lame. Maurice a lame. My husband, 41 years old. My husband is not lame. Like, I love my husband. Like, he is not a lame. I cannot be with no lame. Sorry. And I'm a corporate girly. Like, I can't be with no lame. Sorry. Okay, let's move on. So, boom. I don't know if this is the next scene. I'm just kind of going scene by scene before I jump into episode 2. So I apologize for this video if it's a little bit long. I'm going to try to do at least under 40 minutes. So we still got a lot to get into. So get in tune with me. But in the meantime, between time, like I said, this is my first video on this new platform. I did some old videos before, like some XJW videos. So if you're into that, go check that out. Don't know if I'm going to have this video on that platform or the other one. But if I don't have it on this one, then I'll make sure I link everything. But in the meantime, like, comment, and subscribe. You already know what's going on. You know what it is. But let's get into it. So, boom, here we go. Fletcher's and Martell, right? So the Fletchers meet up. Well, they in the kitchen at first or whatever. They talking. And, Nell walk up on Chris like, hey, what you doing? He like, I'm just studying for this builders or developers license or builders brokers class, something like that. He's studying. So she's like, oh, okay, that's what's up. Yeah, I want to talk to you because, I be seeing Lance, he be seeming tired. He like the last one to pick up the baby from the daycare. And so then they kind of go into say, like, in a confessional that Chris Jr. and Lance now have new babies. So they got 2 new grandkids, 2 new granddaughters. So, Nell was just kind of like, man, I feel like maybe I should talk to him, see what's going on. Do he need any help? Whatever like that. So Chris like, yeah, what I'm saying? Do what you got to do. Yeah, but in the meantime, between time, Martell on his way over here. Nell like, wait, what? So they had went to like a polo classic, I think like a year ago or something like that, in between filming. And Ariane was there. So there was a picture taken of Ariane and Nell as if they were kind of like kikiing or whatever. And Martell was kind of like in the background. But he really wasn't like facing the picture. He was kind of like away from it. So people were just throwing this conspiracy theory like Martell set that up, you know what I'm saying? Whatever, like, because he wanted people to believe the cast was cool with Ariane and this, that, and the other. So, of course, Nell had to jump on live and defend that. I would never, pretty much trying to say she team Mel. I would never do nothing like that. I don't even know that young lady, but I don't know. I don't feel like it was necessarily a setup. I don't even really think it was nothing to be that, to go that deep about. I think that Nell was team Mel, and so when Ariane she probably was like, hey, Miss Nell, and she probably turned around like, oh, hey, girl. And it just so happened that somebody snapped that picture at that exact moment. I don't think it was nothing bigger than that. Nothing. So Martell come over there, whatever. First of all, they got this big, beautiful dog. I'm like, woo, I like that dog. So the Miss Nell like, yeah, because Martell like, dang, a dog, and he cool. So he probably mad at what you did to me. So Martell like, okay. So they sit down, they talking. Martell sound like he got something in his throat. I would never. So Nell and Chris kind of looking at each other like, yeah, okay, like, you trying to act like you such a good dude, but we know what you really be on for real. Pretty much. I feel like I deserve an apology. So Nell like, well, you know what? I'll go ahead and give you that. I'll give you an apology because maybe you didn't have anything to do with it. I don't know. But with that being said, I'll go ahead and I'll do you this salad. I'm gonna give you an apology. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. So he thank you, whatever. So I came up here for one reason. Did Lance have a baby on Destiny? They all laughing. And you gotta ask Lance about that. Boom, boom. So let's speed up to the Ken, Trish, and Marquez of it all. So anyway, I'm just gonna combine these scenes. So initially when we first seen Ken and everybody, it was Ken and Marquez. They met up at some kind of like a gym or something like that. So they was like upstairs in a gym. So they talking. So Ken pretty much like, look, I want to hear your side of the story. Like, let's fix our relationship, this, that, and the other. So Marquez listening, but Marquez always seemed like he has got some up his sleeve. It's like, I just don't get like them honest vibes from him. So Marquez is like, so Ken is like, this was my favorite part. So Ken was like, because Trish don't trust you really, you know what I'm saying, because it just always seemed like you got something going on. So my kid's like, but Ken, come on, like, how long? How long, Ken? How long? And I hollered. I'm like, my kid, you are hilarious. So pretty much the conversation wrapped like, look, we need to be respectful of boundaries, things like that. You know, let's work together. You know, I'm not trying to take your place. Like a conversation I feel like they've already had before. But again, we keep circling back to this shit. Why? I don't know. Boom. Next scene with them is Trish and Ken in the car. And they kind of talking about the conversation they had with Marquez. Now, what I didn't like about this conversation, or just the whole vibe of it all, is unless you was like low-key mad at Ken before y'all got in the car, why you not holding this man's handbag? Like, this the thing that, and I swear to God, like, I could talk about this way more at another time, but it's like women want certain things, but then when they get it, they don't know how to act. And I ain't saying that men ain't like that neither, but women are guilty of the same thing. And this was a perfect example. I'm like, okay, so Ken holding your leg, he got hit literally. This is a GM. What is this? A Ram truck. They got the console super big, right? So he like got his whole arm over the console on her, and she's sitting there like with her hands propped in her lap, and I'm like, okay, that's weird. What's to that? And he like talking, you know. First of all, Ken, Trish, this man is super invested in your life and what you got going on. Y'all talking about opening a gym, good, cool, do it. I think it's gonna be successful. But this man sitting over here pressed about your situation, and you sitting over here like, he about to have a heart attack over what you got going on. So I just felt like that was distasteful how she was sitting. But nonetheless, I don't know what was really going on. Production only gives us what we see. My nail chipped off, y'all. Anyway. Okay, so they talking. So Trish pretty much like, he's sharing a conversation they had. Like, look, I had a conversation with Marquez. Like, I feel like we getting somewhere. Trish are like, okay, don't let him fool you, cause Marquez is sneaky. And Ken like, well, we gotta hear him out. So she like, okay. Boom, fast forward, last scene. So the way it opened up was this. Trish in the kitchen, like she was putting together a little charcuterie board or something like that for her homegirl who finna come through. So they like, so her homegirl opened the door. She comes to the door, woo woo. So Trish go over there, open the door, boom. Yo, what's up? They come in, they get to talking. First of all, when you kick in with your girl, you're gonna talk about whatever the topic of discussion is. That could be your man, your kids, your family, whatever. And then you dwindle into other stuff. But whatever the topic of discussion is, we're gonna pop off with that. And the topic of discussion is Marquez. And how now all of a sudden you back in town and all this. Now, Trish said that her son went to go get her daughter from school and then go get her a protein shake. She said that. So in my mind, her friend is sitting, I want to say her friend name was Sharon. I think her friend name was Sharon. Sharon and her sitting down chopping it up. And they talking about Marquez. The camera's on, this is what we talking about. Then all of a sudden, I hear Trish say, shh, don't say nothing. The door open, here come Marquez. Now, in episode 2, we learned that his daughter. Now, in episode 2, we learned that his daughter, I guess the son and Marquez communicated, and Marquez said, "No, I'm gonna go get her and I'm gonna bring her home, and then me and you gonna go get something to eat or something like that." He cool. So here come Marquez bringing the daughter in, but what Marquez said in the second episode was, "You think I just barged in there?" No, she had cups and bags in her hand, so I pretty much was helping her in the house. Like, I didn't just come walk in, but that's how kind of like the camera made it look like he just walked in. Now, imagine what Trish said in the second episode. What you should have did, though, I get that. Thank you for helping her, but you should have stayed at the front door. Don't come in my crib asking questions and all that. Is you cool? You should have came to the front door. Hey, what's up, Trish? If we and you need to chop it up real quick, we can, then you get on. But you didn't do that. So he proceeds to come in with all this smoke for the friend. So the friend kind of looking like, is you cool? You got some questions? You got questions? She like, as a matter of fact, I do. What's going on here? Like, it just seems like see, you don't know me. How long you been knowing Trish? 4 years. So you been knowing her 4 years? Yeah, well, y'all meet at the gym. Sharon, why you answering his questions? That would have been like, okay, girl, is you cool? Like, are you good? Because I'm about to go. You straight? You need me to stay? because I'm leaving. You're not gonna come in here and question me. How long you been up? Who are you? Who is you? Don't come in here questioning me, bro. But she answering the questions, like, but I can tell she get a little like, he calmed down. No, you calm down. So they going back and forth, really over nothing. You don't know my character. You don't know my character. So Trish like, what? So to the point where the son got to come downstairs like, Dad, pretty much like, bro, I'm tired of you embarrassing me. Get your stuff, go outside, here I come. We probably go, you got my son. You, look at how you doing my son. Look, and Trish is like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Like, Marquez would irritate me if he was my baby daddy or my ex-husband or something, because he just one of them is never going to go away. He's never going to go away. Like, I think that if maybe he found somebody else and maybe started another family, I think that it could potentially work where he, like, gets on his own and do his own thing. But until then, he's irritating. Okay? And I think that's pretty much how the episode ended. It kind of started showing us clips about, you know, what's going to happen throughout the season, all the things. Okay. So, let's bust into episode 2. Okay? We're going to wrap this up real quick. I wonder should I do a second video, but I'm already into it at this point. 30 minutes in, let's get to it. Okay, so this is season 10, episode 2. So again, when the intro came in, I always had to look and say, I hate the way Maurice looked when he popped up out from under that dress. I hate it. Stop doing that. I know he can't stop at this point, but just don't. I hate it. Anyway, when we open up, here go Ken and Trish. They going into a restaurant. I'm like, okay, they going on a little date night. Then you see they meeting Kimmy and Maurice. I'm like, oh, okay. And then Kimmy, that dress you got on, girl, I got the same dress. Ew. So anyway, they come in, they meeting with Maurice and Kimmy pretty much to discuss, like, I guess, to get some tips on their relationship, and then also to kind of how to balance the relationship with Marquez. So Ken starts out by explaining that even though he was tweaking at the barbecue, Marquez makes it hard for him not to tweak when he's around, because you always doing something. You act one way and then you end up doing something like stupid again, literally shortly after that. Now, what I found interesting in this scene, that which was kind of like awkward, I don't know if this was maybe like a place that Kimmy and Maurice own or co-own or something like that, but why were they so in tune with like the drinks? And then like when they first bought the drinks, like the waitress like came to the end of the table and then like came back the other way, then like Kimmy and Maurice looking at each other. I'm like, what's going on? And then they did the same thing when they served the food. I'm like, is everything okay? Is the waitress about to say something? Like, what's going on? Why are y'all even putting any focus on this? I don't know. Y'all let me know down in the comments, like, if y'all notice the same thing. But okay. So anyway, back to it. And I'm looking at my notes, y'all. All right. So Maurice and Kimmy pretty much shared that they did have issues with Kyle, which is Monster's mom. And they kind of do a flashback to one of the reunions where Kyle was like, what did I do to you? And Kimmy was getting all turned like, what do you mean? You've been ill-mannered toward me since the day I met you. Woo, whatever. And so they also reiterate that, like, regardless of the situation, like, it's always best for everyone to try to have a mutual relationship, a good one, you know what I'm saying, if possible, because that just makes everything a lot easier. And so, you know, Kim and Trish kind of received it. They pretty much kind of still continue to say that you know, Marquez is a handful pretty much, and you never know what he might come up with. Like, they told the story about him walking in the crib, you know, unannounced, or just feeling like he can come in and start with one of Trish's friends, and Maurice and Kimmy like, oh, okay, well, like, okay, he a little wild boy, like, yeah, he I don't know. So of course Maurice gotta always be the voice of reason, and he gotta bring up his career. Yeah, you know, it's my profession, and so I have to see both sides of the coin. Shut up! You are like, shut up! You always trying to like talk like you some kind of professor, boy. Like, is you cool? I don't want to be in class, bro. Like, every time you always, yes, shut up. Anyway, him and Kimmy would get on my nerves, because Kimmy is like that too. Girl, shut up. You always trying to use the biggest words you could think of. Okay, you're intelligent. Okay, you don't have to use the deepest word in your thesaurus for the day. Just talk normal. Anyway, I just felt like the conversation was weird. The energy just felt off. I don't know why. I don't know if maybe they really not as cool and production had to put them together. I don't know, but it was just like odd. Okay, then boom. Here go Martell walking into like a rustic type of furniture store. He's meeting with Destiny to look at some furniture for his investment property. So that he meets up with Destiny. It kind of comes out that Ariane, his son, or the baby he has with Ariane, and then Ariane's other child are gonna move into this investment property. So Destiny shows up. He explains to her that's what's going on, and so she's like, "Oh, so you moving in with her?" And he like, "No," and she like, "Okay, so you buying furniture, moving her and your baby and her child into this investment property, you're not gonna live there?" He, no, I'm not gonna live there until after we get married. So Destiny like, "Okay, have you been looking for rings? Like, what's going on?" And he like, "I mean, you know, yeah, a little bit, you know." Martin, shut up, cause you another just liar. Like, I just feel like you lie about everything, and I ain't even like no millimeter. Like, I'm not. You feel me? Like, I ain't like, Melanie got her little ways and stuff like that, but Martell is a liar, and he can't stop. He's diabolical, and someone needs to intervene. So anyway, Destiny is kind of like, all right, well, what, you know what I'm saying? Like, when do you think it's going to happen? And he's, I don't know. So, you know, she's a good girl. She likes to, you know, she keeps the house in order. She cooks, she clean, you know, whatever. So Destiny's like, okay, well then what's the problem? What's going on? Well, you know, my divorce is still fresh. So Destiny like, the divorce between you and Melanie is fresh? How long it's been? Like 2 years at this point? Yeah, I'm just saying it just feels fresh to me. It feels fresh. So she like, pretty much, you need to go to therapy. Because if you still tripping up off of this, bro, you need to go to therapy. What you mean therapy? She like, nah, for real, because it's over. And he, you know, sometimes I'm just trying to figure out, should I fight to the end? Should I fight? Ariane, what's wrong with you? You're not even like an ugly girl. And what, you only got 2 kids? Girl, if you in nursing school, if you don't move around, this man calls you a peasant, you let him come back. He's been cheating on you. So my thing is, he jeopardized his super successful wife and his family. What makes you think that he wouldn't do something like that to you? He's dated on you. He was dating Sheree and other people and stuff like that. He damn near has some kind of fling with Trish. Like, and you just sitting your ass around for what? Like, what? He's handsome, but girl. Anywho. So, let me see. I feel like also too, I know that like, it feels like Martell, like when he talks about Ariane, like it feels like he's forced to say nice things about her. I don't like that. It's like, oh yeah, you know, yeah, you know, he's just like, he just feels like he looks super uncomfortable. And I feel like Martell is scared to be by himself. Just be by yourself. But he know Ariane not finna let that happen. But it's like, do you really love her though? I think he respects her for probably going through the trenches with him. Like, but do you really love her? I do believe in love 2, 3, 4 times. Okay, it ain't work out with Mel, but it's like, you need to be with somebody who you really love. Period. So anyway, so he pretty much asked Destiny, like, so, you know, you still talk to Lance? And Destiny's like, no, we pretty much, it fizzled out, you know, and if my dating life is great, pretty much if I find somebody that I'm interested in, I'm gonna give it a go. So Martell is like, okay, you know, whatever. Boom, here we go. Marcel and Tisa are at Scott Manor, and it's actually good to see like groundwork being laid and actually stuff going on. And Marcel like expresses how he's so proud of all of the children. They all get really good grades. The older sons get ready to go away. Tisa's like torn about that because the son wants to go to University of Michigan and she wants him to stay a little bit closer. And they kind of just talking through the growing pains of, you know, parenthood. So this conversation was cute. You know, it wasn't really too much. Tisha asked him like, hey, when I'm gonna have my broker's office? He said in about 30-45 days. Tisha said, I'll take 30. And that was that. But even like, I don't know, sometimes like I've seen like stuff in like the blogs and online, like where they were saying like Tisha and Marcel really not together. They kind of just like doing it for like the show. And I can kind of believe that sometimes. Like even with the intro, like they didn't even kiss. Like they didn't, I can't remember if Maurice kissed Kimmy, but I do know Trish and Ken kissed. Nell and Chris, I don't know if they kissed, but they were really like close. Like she pretty much had that thing up on him. And then Tisa and Marcel was just kind of like even though like Maurice Y'all know I hate when he popped out from under that tree. But he was still like all on Kimmy, you know what I'm saying? They was enjoying it, and it was like Marcel and Tisa was just kind of like I just feel like it's over, and I think they holding it. They trying to like pretty much hold this thing. It doesn't feel like they're together. It just don't. Like even with this, and she's okay. Like they didn't even like do a little kiss, like a little peck. Like okay, like they flirting was just like weird. I peeped that. They talked about if Wanda was gonna have a room there. Marcel was like she gonna be all the way back there. You know, whatever. They kind of kiki about that. And so, boom, here we go. Marquez is meeting with Maurice. Why? Why are you meeting with Maurice? Who is Maurice? Why are you meeting with him? So anyway, he's like asking about legal advice. Maurice pretty much let him know I can give you a little advice like this, but as far as me working for you, no sir, I don't mix business and pleasure, or what he said, matters of the heart or whatever. I kind of like how he put that. That was kind of cool. And so pretty much like he's giving this sob story. This is Marquez. He's giving this sob story about how Trish and him shouldn't have never gotten married. His dad said that they weren't gonna last 5 years. But the reason why she loves Ken is because he's just like her dad. Okay, Marquez, are you cool? No, is you cool? I am confusion in your conversations. You never make sense to me. You start off here, you go down here, you're here, you're all over the place, bro. Are you cool? Is you cool? Because my thing is, you started off and said, me and her should have never got married. But I see why she loves Ken so much. Huh? How long, Ken? How long? Crazy. So Maurice is like listening, but he gotta like remind him, like, you gotta take accountability, gang, because what have you done in this situation? It's not all about Ken and your kids. Like, if Ken and Trish and all that, like, you gotta have some responsibility. I shouldn't have left. This is Marquez. I shouldn't have left. But you did. So now, I mean, what do you expect to happen? You left, somebody came in, but you're gonna have to get over it. Work everything out in the courts as much as you can. Let's keep it moving. Then Marquez says, well, I gave Trish to Ken, and if he wants Trish back, he can have her. He said that's not even the issue. He said that's not the issue. You confident. He said that's not even the issue. If I want her back, bro, I'm gonna get her back. That's not the issue. That's not the issue. Okay. He says he wants Trish to be his best friend so they can go on family trips. And Maurice, he said, do you think I'm being unreasonable and unrealistic? And Maurice said, absolutely. Don't play yourself, bro. Boom, here we go. Tisa picking up their son from school. It's his 18th birthday. He's definitely a good mix between Tisa and Marcel. Like, Marcel got that Squidward look though, so them kids gonna have that Squidward. They just is, because Tisa is very, very pretty, but them kids got that Squidward. So he definitely has Marcel's personality, very like dry humor, kind of like passive aggressive type. So she's joking and reminiscing about how old he is, and then she says, I had you when I was 25. And so if she had him when she was 25, she should be like 43, and she looks so good. Tisa is so pretty to me. So he said that he's going to miss Marcel more than her, because Marcel is like a pillar for him, and Tisa is the parent that is the line that keeps him straight. So I feel like Tisa was like a little hurt when he said that. But then she continues to express, that she supports him and that they locked in for life. So then, boom, we at Trisha and Ken's crib, and they waiting on Marquez to come through. Oh my God, here we go. So they waiting on Marquez to come through to discuss boundaries, because Ken is pissed off at, like, did you just walk up in my crib? And my girl was not happy about that. So Ken, at this point, before Marquez gets there, is like, we have to let him express himself. So Trisha already on, but she on 10, she activated. So here go Marquez. He shows up, the doorbell rings, but then he walk in. So Ken didn't even get an opportunity to like open the door. He's getting up to go to the door, but Marquez already got his ass in the crib. Why do y'all have the door unlocked? Y'all doing that? That's what I'm saying. Like, y'all doing that on purpose, cause y'all know Marquez. Y'all know he a fool. He gonna do it. Okay. So then, Trish hot. She mad. So Ken is still trying to keep some kind of middle ground. And then Trish said she invited Sharon. Why? Why did you invite her? She didn't do anything. She didn't say anything. She tried to say something. All she did was touch Ken's hand for a second when he was finna get down on Marquez. But what was the purpose of her being there? So anyway, Marquez comes in and he wants to know what his drink is at. Ken and Trish are not amused at this. So this is how I knew he was on bullshit. Marquez said that he didn't barge in. He was helping his daughter with some bags and a couple drinks. And then Sharon shows up and Marquez starts asking her questions before she even gets a chance to sit down. And then I kind of was looking at Trish though, because I'm like, okay, first of all, this your homegirl. So you came and let her in because Ken was like, go get the door when Sharon rang the doorbell. So you let your good girlfriend come in and let her stand there while you got your ass back on the couch and put your legs back on Ken. You should have been like, you want to take your coat, girl? You want something to drink? You know what I'm saying? Girl, come on, let's sit down and talk to this with this foolishness. You sat there and let her like stand there and look crazy while Marquez questioned her. Then Marquez is like, oh, I'm sorry, did you want to have a seat? She like, yeah. Did you want to drink? See, Marquez, you playing. Stop playing, bro. This is the energy you get from Ken and Trish, though. I get it. Because you're doing too much. You're doing too much, bro. So, Ken says, listen, at the end of the day, these are your kids, but this is my family. So now Marquez like, you said what? So he says, you're a bonus dude. You're her boyfriend. You know what I'm saying? So Ken goes on to ask like, okay, you know, Trish's daughter has a dance competition coming up. I guess it's really expensive. And he asked Marquez like, are you going to be there? And Marquez was like, of course I am. I gave you that money. Like, so Ken's like, you only gave me $500. And in my mind, I'm like, dang, well, how much is everything? Like, I have heard that those competitions are like really expensive. So, I mean, I guess the $500 really wasn't nothing, but I can kind of tell Marquez was kind of looking like, don't do me, bro. I got you $500. Like, and if I really ain't got it like that for me to give you $500, that's a lot. So anyway, now they going back and forth, hooping and hollering, and then Marquez brings up the court papers, and he says that he contested it because they got to get a new court date because Trish didn't have their kids' names on the original papers. They said Ken tells Trish to go get the papers, or she gets up and get them on her own, pretty much to go prove Marquez wrong. So she's showing him to Sharon like, here go the kid's name. So why you showing it to her? She don't even know what's going on. Show him to me. So Ken hops up like, no, I'll show him to you since you want to sit here and act like you don't see him. So he pretty much got the papers in Marquez's face. Now, you a big, aggressive dude, and you shaking these papers in my face. I would feel away too. I ain't gonna hold you. I'm gonna be like, all right, you trying it. So Marquez is getting like activated, like, all right, boy, like. So he gets up. So Ken like, sit down, cause I'm sitting down. Cause at first he was like, sit down. So Marquez like, what? So he like, I'm sitting down, so you need to sit down. So he like, nah, bro, you know what I'm saying? Well, so he like, how about this? You either sit down or you can get out, or I can put you out, or whatever. So now Marquez like, who you talking to? You know what I'm saying? It's so crazy because if you look at the difference between them and their sizes, Marquez looks so much smaller than Ken, but I feel like Ken would gotta give him some go. Like in the first episode, he was like, what good is if I beat you up? Or you beat me up? I'm like, Ken. Wordplay is crazy. So, Ken is like, you know, I'll put you out or whatever. So now they kind of going back and forth. Marquez like, hey, stop playing with me. You know what I'm saying? Are you for real? Like, you know what I'm saying? Are you for real? Are you for real? He hot. So Ken is getting ready to, you know, bust through. He about to bust out. He finna bust the cabinets off the thing or whatever, and go at Marquez. I don't know if that was their son that came downstairs or whatever, but it was pretty much like it was about to go down. And then it's like, to be continued. Camera kind of faded to black, and so we're gonna see what happens next week. But yeah, that was the end of the episode. I feel like it was a decent episode. Like, I didn't expect Ken and Marquez to get into it so quick. And I do feel like they're getting a lot of story time. Like, it's pretty much like so far, they're like kind of the stars of the show. Like, they have the main storyline. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to see what's going on with Kimmy and Maurice as far as these properties that y'all got. I want to see Scott Manor coming to fruition. Like, y'all been working on it, y'all finally got some foundation laid. I want to see that. And I wouldn't mind seeing Ariana on the show, honestly. Like, I want to see what she was to her. You know, Destiny, again, you already starting off with a flop. I don't know what's going on with you, but your storyline is Lance. And I just feel like you always attaching yourself to somebody's storyline. Get your own storyline. Find something to do. Like, really, really reach for the stars. Like, you talking about Madani and all of that. Girl, please stop with the Madani. Like, do something else. You are a beautiful girl. Like, why don't you, like, if you want to act or model or whatever, do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like she always running up behind somebody, like, on the storyline that's just not for her. You know what I'm saying? What else? So next week it's gonna be something with Jalen and his nasally self. I feel like, you know. Jalen and his nasally self next week. I feel like you would always come to me and tell me to do chores, and Monster did no chores. What are we talking about? Jalen, how old are you? Are you like 27 or something? Okay. I don't know. I feel like I'm missing something, but I feel like this video has been long enough. If y'all have hung in there all the way up until now, I greatly appreciate y'all. I got some other shows I'm gonna be doing Ready for Love. I definitely didn't review Love Island. I definitely watched it though, but I did not review Love Island. I don't think I'm gonna do Beyond the Villa. I think that I'm going to stick with Love and Marriage Huntsville. I'll kind of do the recap on Ready to Love, and try to stick with some of those hot shows that come out. If I haven't dropped a review by like episode 3, I probably just won't review the show. But yeah, that's kind of like where I'm at with it, waiting on Married at First Sight to come back on and all the things. So if I find something that I really like, that I think you guys would enjoy listening to my review on, I'll definitely do that. Like I said, I'm gonna do some like movies and stuff too, Netflix movies, in theater movies, those types of things. But yeah, so I hope that y'all enjoyed this review. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see y'all at the next one.